Boker Tov, good morning to everyone who is learning about the Lion of Judah program and is working to earn the Oht Kavod, the badge, for each of the 11 categories so that you too may become a Lion of Judah. Our focus today is going to be on our second Oht Kavod, and that would be the badge known as the Torah badge. This requires us to learn essential information about the 5 books of Moses. So, the Torah, also known as the 5 books of Moses in English, and also called the Pentateuch by some people, which comes from the Greek, the Torah has served as the spiritual guide and community constitution of the Jewish people now for 3,000 years. Our tradition teaches that the Torah was given to us by God at Mount Sinai through the hand of Moses. As something touched by God, the prophets, and virtually every Jew who has ever lived, the Torah is the most sacred heirloom and our chief inspiration as the Jewish people. So, I want to share with you 5 elements that you have to learn about the Torah in order to earn this badge. All right, so what are the 5 elements? Element number 1, you need to learn what the word Torah means. It comes from the same root as teacher, and so it means instruction. Some people will translate it as the law or something else, but frankly, instruction is the correct meaning of the word Torah. So that's the one thing you have to know. When I say, what does Torah mean? You'll say instruction. There you go. You've already got one down. 2, how is the Torah divided and what are the names for the sections? All right. And what is the number of Torah sections that are read a year? So this is not referring to the system of chapter or verses or even the names of the individual books. This is referring to a system that we Jews use each and every week for deciding what we read from the Torah, and is called the weekly portion. The Hebrew word is parsha, or in plural, parshiot. So you need to know that the Torah is divided up into parshiot, and the number of parshiot is 54 that we can use to read throughout the year. So we can go every week from beginning to end. So what is it you need to know about how the Torah is divided? It's divided into parsha, or plural, parshiot, and that there are 54 parshiot. Now you've got element number 2. How easy could that be? All right. So now element number 3 gets a little more challenging. All right. To be able to name all 5 books of the Torah in English and in Hebrew. So the English part is probably the easiest. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So you can even, I'm going to screen share this little image with you. So there are the 5 names of the 5 books of Moses, all right? And they are Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. And you can use your fingers to remember them, right? So say this again with me. The 5 English names are Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. All right, you're halfway there on your 3rd element. But there's another aspect to it, a little more challenging, and that is to learn the Hebrew names for each of these. So the Hebrew name for Genesis is Bereshit. Repeat that with me, Bereshit. Okay, or some people will just compress it down to Breshit. So Genesis equals Breshit. Exodus, its Hebrew name is Shemot. So Exodus, Shemot. Exodus, Shemot. Leviticus is in Hebrew called Vayikra. Leviticus, Vayikra. Leviticus, Vayikra. Numbers goes by the Hebrew name Bamidbar. Numbers, Bamidbar. Numbers, Bamidbar. Numbers, Bamidbar. And then finally, Deuteronomy goes by the Hebrew name Devarim. Deuteronomy, Devarim. Deuteronomy, Devarim. Deuteronomy, Devarim. So you have to know both those words for each one. So it's Genesis, Bereshit, Exodus, Shemot, Leviticus, Vayikra, Numbers, Bamidbar, and Deuteronomy, Devarim. If you can name all of those 5 books in both English and Hebrew, you've met the most challenging, the third of the mastery elements. Now we're going to go on to the last 2 pieces, all right? First of all, I want you to be able to know what a Sefer Torah is. A Sefer Torah means, here's the share, the scroll form of the 5 books of Moses. All 5 books are in this one scroll, all right? So, and that scroll is called a Sefer. A Sefer is the Hebrew word for a scroll. So the Torah that we take out of the Ark and that we use for Saturday morning worship, that we read from in just Hebrew, that's called a Sefer Torah. So why don't you say that with me? A Sefer Torah. Sefer Torah. Scroll form of the Torah. Sefer Torah. All right? Just understand that when it's all rolled up, it's Sefer. Get it? Okay. That's the 4th element, to know that the Torah we use at worship is a scroll, and it's called the Sefer Torah. And then the 5th element is to know the other term we use for our versions of the Torah, and that's the book version of the Torah, and that's called a Chumash. Say Chumash with me. Chumash. It's actually really elementary in Hebrew because Chumash means 5, right? So that's just the book of the 5, Chumash. So remember, there is the Sefer Torah, which is the scroll version, and the Chumash, which is the book version. Now, if you can answer those 2 questions, if I say, what do we call the scroll version of the Torah? And you say Sefer Torah, and I say, what is the book form of the Torah? And you say Chumash, then you got it. You got the 4th and 5th element. All right. So the most daunting part of earning this badge is to learn the 5 books in both English and Hebrew. And otherwise, it's just the mastery of a couple of terms. So I hope you are inspired to work on this, learn this information, and then contact me at Congregation Kolami. Send me an email, and we'll test you on a Zoom meeting, and we'll award you the badge once you've earned it. So I'm coming back onto the screen just for a moment. So as we say in Hebrew, l'chatz l'cha, to success on earning your second Oht Kavod, your second Lion of Judah badge. I look forward to hearing from you.